Alright, it says I'm live. I'm gonna check my video and audio real quick. Let me just see how is the video and audio. Let me just see how is the video and audio. Apparently it's all working good, so I'm gonna just lower this back in here. Let me just see how is the video and audio. Apparently it's all working good, so I'm gonna just lower this back in here. Let me just see how is Okay, that's that. What is going on, people? This is the People's Truth, and I know I've been away. I did a video about that. We are still running like chickens with no head. We're doing a lot, and plus all of the stuff that have come up on all of us with this pandemic, and the the COVID-19. So it has been a lot, almost no time at all to go online and do videos. I do apologize for that. Um, we are gonna be trying to post more videos with this new condition of live we have on the run all the time. Today I want to bring you something. I saw two videos uh, in Spanish, and they got me. They got to me really deep, and I just wanna I'm gonna play them section by section and translate them to the best of my knowledge, and I hope you find them interesting, and I hope you can find the truth within it, and I hope that it works by making you understand what is it that is wrong nowadays with our system, and why is everything mandates illegal laws. And yes, a lot of people don't think, oh, their laws, how are they going to be illegal? Well, if they go against the Constitution, if they go against the moral, they're illegal. And Brian from High Impact TV says, I don't know now if it was Thomas Jefferson or Ben Franklin. I can't really remember, but someone said that a man is not only right to not follow a law what is illegal, but he is obligated to not follow it. And there are illegal laws. Um, I just want to go ahead and play. I just want to go ahead and play these videos and translate as best as I can, and I hope it opens your eyes and your understanding of the lie we are living, and that we've been living for our whole lives, most of us. Once again, I just want to translate the video. It's made by another channel. The channel is called WhyMaps. You might have seen it. They have a lot of followers, and if you haven't, go subscribe to them and tell them the People's Truth sent you. Um, this video is great. Of course, after watching them, I look for history, and a lot of stuff that I didn't know that I had to make sure before trying to translate these videos and doing it in English because I want to spread only the truth. Um, as a human, might there might be a moment where I come to spread something that might not be as truth, and I hope that moment doesn't come. I try to always do my research and seek for the truth myself. As I always tell you, seek for the truth. Do not accept anything that no one tells you as the truth. If you seek for the truth and you do your own research, not only you are taking a smart decision and exercising your brain, but at the same time you are making sure that that information that was provided to you, it's accurate and no one is lying to you. So without further ado, I'm gonna play these videos. I have some other thoughts and things in my head for this video, and what I'm gonna do is as we go, I'm gonna play two clips that I have and explain a little bit more about it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start sharing my screen with you guys and just uh, share these videos with you. We have a delay, so let me make sure I am sharing my screen properly. Yes, there it is. And this is the first video of the two video I saw, I watched, and this is the channel. Hashtag WhyMaps. They have 431,000 subscribers, and I looked them up. They do a really good job, and let's just hear it.
Hablemos de democracia. Estos son los países cuyos gobiernos dicen ser democráticos.
Let's talk about democracy. These are the countries which governments say they're democratic.
Estados Unidos, Francia, Reino Unido,
United States, France, United Kingdom,
Alemania, México, Chile,
Germany, Mexico, China, Turkey, Sudan, Russia, Switzerland, Sierra Leone, Australia,
Turquía, Sudán, Rusia,
Turkey,
Suecia, Sierra Leona, Australia, España, Polonia, Brasil,
Spain, Polonia, Brazil, Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela,
Surinam, Guyana,
Brazil.
Joder.
Fuck. We're
Todos
all
somos
democracies.
Qué bien, ¿no?
We're all democracies. Good, no?
Vamos a intentarlo de otra manera.
Let's try a different way.
Esto es 1984, una novela de ciencia ficción de George Orwell. En
This is 1984, a science fiction novel from George Orwell.
ella, un gobierno elimina palabras para controlarnos.
In this novel, we realize that government eliminates words to control us, and I'm gonna add that they create euphemisms for the same purpose, to control us, to dominate us.
Imagina que eliminas del diccionario palabras como guerra, violencia, asesinar.
So imagine you eliminate from the dictionary words such as war, violence, and murder,
Y cosas así. Pero
and stuff like that. But you leave the word peace.
dejas paz. Cuando en un país no hay paz, ¿qué dirás?
When there's no peace in a country, what could you say?
No puedes decir que hay guerra. Esa
You cannot say there's war because war doesn't exist anymore. They erased it from the dictionary.
palabra no existe.
It doesn't exist.
Acabaríamos diciendo que hay menos paz.
We would probably end up saying that there's less peace.
Llamaríamos al problema con el nombre de la solución.
This way, we would be calling the problem with the name of the solution.
Una auténtica locura.
this is authentically craziness.
¿Y si nos está pasando algo parecido?
What if something like this is happening to us? Now the dude's father who's making the video's father is coming to the room and asks him, "What are you doing?"
Pues un vídeo como...
Un vídeo como el de Siria.
Well, I'm making a video about a video like the one from Syria.
Pues sí, bueno, os presento a mi padre.
Well, yeah. Let me introduce you my father.
¿Quieres quedar a mirar? ¿Quieres que te
Can I stay and watch? Do you want me to help you?
ayude?
Sí, venga. ¿Cuál dirías
Well, okay, let's do it. Which would you say is our form of government?
que es nuestra forma de gobierno?
Pues la democracia.
Well, of course, democracy.
Vale, vivimos en democracia. ¿Por qué?
Okay, we live in democracy. Why?
Porque hay elecciones, que es algo que nos costó mucho conseguir.
Vale,
Because there's elections. That's something that cost us a lot to get.
las elecciones son una conquista de...
¿Del pueblo?
Vale,
So we could say that elections are a prize of or something that we conquered. We fought for it and we conquered it.
del pueblo. ¿Y a quiénes elegimos?
Hombre, a los políticos.
When they say pueblo, they're not meaning town like the literal definition, but they refer as the people. So it's a conquer from the people.
Políticos los preparados.
Vale, o sea que los políticos son gente preparada.
Sí,
So elections give us prepared people, which are the politicians.
sí. Y si no te gusta lo que han hecho, les echas. El pueblo.
And if you don't like what they have done, you just take them out.
No, no.
Vale, o sea que el poder
The people governs.
está en los ciudadanos.
Sí.
So do you mean that the power is on the people? Yes.
Bueno, a ver, aquí no puede mandar todo Cristo, sino
Hold on. Not everyone can govern. If not, that would be craziness.
sería una locura.
No se puede dar el poder al pueblo porque sería una locura.
Well, so we cannot give the power to the people because it'll be craziness.
Un poco contradicción, ¿no?
A ver,
A little contradictory, don't you think?
sí, pero para eso están los partidos.
Kind of, yeah, but that's why we have political parties.
Vale, los partidos.
Sí, si les votas habiendo leído el programa electoral.
Yes, if you read their platform and you elect them,
Vale, o sea que el programa electoral es muy importante y te fías de que lo van a cumplir.
Hombre, no mucho.
so do you trust they're gonna carry on with their platform? Not at all.
Pero es que todo el mundo desconfía de los políticos.
But everyone distrusts or untrusts the politicians.
Sí, sí, apunta eso también.
Vale, ¿y de dónde viene la democracia?
Es de los romanos.
So where does democracy comes from? Well, from Romans.
Bueno, no, de los griegos. Sí,
No,
de Atenas.
hold on.
Ahora,
From Greeks, from Athens.
¿a ti qué te gustan los mapas?
Bueno, pero nuestro sistema de gobierno no viene de Grecia.
Sí, pero Grecia.
So you that like so much maps, hold on, but our government doesn't come from Greece.
El poder puede ser visualizado como una pirámide. Arriba
Power can be visualized as a pyramid.
están los que pueden hacer las leyes, los que mandan. ¿Vale?
At the top, we find those who can make laws, who governs.
Allá. Abajo los que obedecen. Y
At the bottom, the ones who obey.
así era muy básicamente como nos organizábamos hace 200 años.
And that's basically how we used to organize 200 years ago.
Este señor era el rey. Ya sabes que ser rey se hereda.
This dude was the king. You know that being a king, it's only inherit. You can only inherit. You don't earn it.
y solo podían ser reyes sus hijos. El resto de la gente
So a way that just one family was always in the power, and the rest at the bottom it was the people.
estaba aquí. En Francia, para que no fuera tan visible que ellos tenían todo el poder, los reyes consultaban de vez en cuando a una asamblea donde estaban los nobles, la iglesia.
So in France, so it wouldn't be that obvious that they were always in the power. Uh, they had in the middle of the people and the king, the nobles, the church, and we're gonna come into ads here. I'm gonna do as much as I can to skip it real quick. Remember, this is live. I didn't really prepare it. So yeah, talking about this, we're gonna have a campaign ad from Trump, and lies
Trump,
from
and I
one,
approve
lies
this
from the
message.
other. You know how it goes. Just keeping the illusion.
That were able to deploy. Y de todo este
So we had between the kings and the people, we had the church and the nobles, and people that was elected that had prestigious professions.
este resto que quedaba, se eligió a la gente con profesiones prestigiosas, abogados, comerciantes, los burgueses. A los burgueses les había volado
The burghs, or people that had professions or careers as lawyers or business owners, contractors, people of wealth.
volado la cabeza un libro, El contrato social, de Rousseau. Rousseau dijo que todo
Rousseau redacted a script which later on turned into a book, the Social Contract. So J.J. Rousseau said on this book that we all should participate in making laws.
todos debemos participar en hacer las leyes. De lo contrario, no son leyes. Así que lo que hacía
Otherwise, those would not be laws because of the fact that some of the people and the king were creating laws, but not everybody would agree with them.
los reyes no eran leyes. ¿Cómo lo solucionaron?
So what kings were making were not laws. How did they fix it?
Quitando al rey.
Taking off the king.
Ahora, ¿quién haría las leyes?
Now, who would make the laws?
Rousseau dice que para que una ley sea ley, todos debemos participar en hacerla.
J.J. Rousseau said that for a lay to be legitimate and actually turn into a law, we should all participate on the making of it.
Pero hay varias maneras de que todos participemos.
But there's different ways in which we could all participate.
Una de ellas es que elijamos a representantes. No haremos.
One of them is electing representatives.
Las leyes nosotros, pero nos consultarán y nos pedirán permiso para aprobarlas.
We would not be making the laws, but we would be consulted as the people, and they would ask for our permission to see if we approve them or not.
Perfecto. Los de abajo
Perfect.
han dicho que sí. Ahora esto es una
The
ley.
people-
Las repúblicas que
The people had said yes. So now this can become a law. The republics that were born then,
nacieron por aquel entonces, como la República Francesa y los Estados
like the Republic of France and the United States,
Unidos, optaron por esta vía y se llamaron así
opted for that way.
mismas repúblicas de gobierno
And they call themselves republics of representative government.
representativo. ¿Y quién podía elegir a los representantes? Solo los considerados
So who could choose those representatives? Only the considered free men over 25-year-old.
libres, hombres mayores de 25 años e independientes económicamente. Gente
that were also independent economically.
con dinero y propiedades. Mayoritariamente
So basically, people with money and properties, the Bergs.
burgueses. Resultado, los que eligen y los elegidos son del mismo.
So basically, the chosen ones and the ones choosing were from the same level or class.
Grupo. Así que la elección no es una conquista del pueblo, es una conquista de un grupo, de una.
Meaning that the elections were not a conquer from the people, like it says here on the second sticky note, but it was a conquer from the elite.
Una élite. Espera.
Hold on.
Antes de la
Hold on, rewind.
Revolución Francesa, el rey ya creó elecciones para que el
Before the French Revolution, the king had created elections so the people could elect or choose representatives.
pueblo eligiera representantes y no tener que negociar con millones de personas.
So that way they didn't have to deal with millions of people.
¿Te acuerdas de quiénes representaban al pueblo? Abogados, comerciantes, los burgueses.
Do you remember who represented the people? Lawyers, business owners, basically the Bergs.
Exacto, los famosos burgueses. Así que los burgueses ni siquiera conquistan las elecciones, mantienen un método que ya habían usado.
So the elite does not conquer the elections, they keep the elections.
Algunos reyes. Era bastante obvio que un grupo había hecho la revolución para ellos solos. Tocqueville.
It was obvious enough that a group had made the revolution just for themselves. These people here, the elite.
El primero en estudiar la joven república norteamericana dijo: no le temo al sufragio. Era bastante obvio que un grupo había hecho la revolución para ellos solos. Tocqueville, el primero en.
So Tocqueville, the first to excuse me. Tocqueville, the first to study the young North American Republic, said,
Estudiar la joven república norteamericana dijo: no le temo al sufragio. La gente votará lo que se le diga. ¿Por qué?
I don't fear to sink. People would vote whatever we tell them to vote.
Porque si tienes que elegir entre varias opciones, quien tenga más dinero hará tan visibles las suyas que las convertirá en las únicas.
So whoever has the more money, if we present them with only a few options, whoever has the most money would make their plans as visible as possible, not allowing the others to propose their plans or to make their plans visible. We can see how they crown them with the thug life sunglasses.
Mientras, la gente empezó a exigir que pudiera votar todo el mundo. Así que más y más gente empezó a acceder a la posibilidad de votar.
So, while all this happened, the people started asking for more people to be allowed to vote.
El famoso sufragio universal, pero tan centrados.
And this brought the famous universal sinking. Like sinking like when a ship sinks.
En obtener el voto, la gente se había olvidado de una cosa. Rousseau había.
But so focused on getting to vote, on trying to conquer the fact that trying to conquer the ability. I'm sorry, apologies. The ability to vote. They forgot that J.J. Rousseau had advised something about the representatives.
Había advertido algo sobre los representantes. Para que una ley sea ley, todos debemos participar.
Which was the fact that a law, in order to become a law, we all had to participate in the making of the law.
En hacerla. Si no la hacemos todos y elegimos representantes para que la hagan, necesitamos mecanismos para que nos hagan caso.
If we don't make the laws, we at least need mechanisms so they hear us and they comply with what we want.
Por ejemplo, poder parar en todo momento una ley que no nos guste.
As an example, the ability to stop a law any moment, a law that we didn't like.
Si no creamos esos mecanismos, no tenemos el
If we don't create those mechanisms, we have no power at all.
poder. No hemos elegido representantes, sino jefes.
So we didn't really elect the representatives, but we elected bosses.
Se puso muy pesado con esto.
So it got too heavy and too tyrannical.
Así que, de acuerdo con Rousseau, no. Hoy el poder no está en los ciudadanos.
So according to J.J. Rousseau, the power today is not in the people,
Está en los representantes.
it's on the representatives.
¿Y cuál es el efecto de no tener mecanismos para que nos hagan caso? Pueden
So what's the effect of not having any mechanisms so they abide by what we want?
hacer lo que quieran. No importa lo mucho.
They are able to do whatever they want, no matter how much we untrust or distrust them.
Que desconfiemos de los políticos. La elección significa confianza total, pero
Elections are supposed to mean total trust,
no nos apresuremos. Volvamos a cuando
but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
todavía votaban unos pocos.
Let me take you back to the times where just only a few were able to vote.
Entonces, los representantes eran conocidos personalmente por los cientos de personas.
Back then, the representatives were known by the hundreds of people that could vote.
Que les votaban. Pero según más y más gente accede a votar, resulta difícil que todos conozcan personalmente.
But as more and more people is able to vote, it's complicated that these representatives know them all.
Al representante. Entonces aparecen los partidos de masas.
So then the political parties or the masses parties come and play.
Que clasificaban a la gente por ideologías.
Qualifying the people by ideology.
No importa la persona, conoce sus ideas.
So no matter the person or if they knew them or not, you know their ideas, whatever they wanted for the country.
Aquí nacen los programas electorales, paquetes de promesas que hacen los partidos. Sin embargo, acuérdate de cómo está hecho el sistema.
With them, the political platforms or the electoral platforms are born, and the platforms mean that this is what they promise or they offer, so you vote for them, making the promise that they will carry on.
Por mucha vivienda que te haya prometido, no hay mecanismos para que el representante que elegiste te haga caso.
So, but still, for as much as one of the representatives, offered housing as an example, there was no mechanism to obligate them to come through with their promise.
El único mecanismo es votar a otro.
The only real mechanism is to vote them off and then vote someone else on.
Pero eso tampoco te da ninguna garantía.
But that doesn't guarantee anything anyway.
Entonces, ¿cómo de importantes son los programas?
So, how important are really political platforms or election platforms?
Nada. Los programas electorales no tienen importancia.
The platforms really don't have importance. And this is something you and me know already, I should add, because no matter how much they promise, no matter how much they offer, they just don't do it. We are 1 second away to get an ad on this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the video and let it play as we talk. So he's basically at this point explaining that the platform or whatever they offer and promise doesn't care. It just doesn't care. And we know this. It doesn't matter if they're Republican, they're Democrats, whatever they offer to you, you just never see. You see clowns proposing themselves to better the economy, the environment, to offer more jobs, and this never happens. And they're constantly blaming each other for whatever wasn't done, whatever didn't get accomplished. And well, that's basically how it goes all the time. I mean, I should not say this. I mean, it's obvious enough. I'm only 37 years old, and I've seen plenty elections already, both here and in Puerto Rico, and it just doesn't happen. No matter what they offer and they promise, you never get it.
No hemos hablado de cómo funciona un partido.
That little book that he made there says politic game.
Si quieres llegar a ser un representante.
So how a party works? It's another pyramid. If you want to get to be a representative,
Tendrás que ir escalando la pirámide de poder.
You would have to go up in the power pyramid.
¿Cómo se hace? No siempre como uno espera. Primero,
How is it done? Well, not always as you would expect. At first, you have to say okay to everything. Everything.
Diciendo que sí a todo. Luego, alianzas. Alianzas.
Then, basically, you make allies. You do coalitions. You can later on, and it says down here, I'm a translator. Coalitions that you can later on break with a backstab. Politicians, right?
Es que no puedes romper con una puñalada. Y cuando seas alguien.
And that's the dagger for the backstab. And when you finally come to see somebody,
Juega tus cartas de promesa. Diles que te
then play your platform and promises cards.
acordarás de ellos cuando llegues arriba.
Tell them you will remember them when you get to the top.
Vale, ¿quiénes suelen llegar a la cima? Los
Okay, who gets to the top?
más grises. La gente que está de acuerdo con todo el mundo.
The gray man. The one who says yes to everyone. The one who is okay with everyone.
Los partidos son una máquina de seleccionar mediocres.
So political parties are nothing but a machine to select mediocres.
Ahora, de estos tres, vamos a quedarnos con este. Es el mejor.
Now, from these three at the top, let's just choose this one. Is the better that the party see fits to govern?
¿Mejor para gobernar? No, el mejor para gobernar era este. Pero se
Well, not really. The best one to govern is this one. But he'll be nervous on debates.
pondría nervioso en los debates. El segundo mejor era este, pero es demasiado.
The second best one would be this one, but he's too old.
Demasiado viejo y hay que ganar voto joven. Nos hemos
And we gotta catch the young people vote.
quedado con este no porque sea el mejor para gobernar, sino porque es el mejor para ganar elecciones.
So we chose this one not because it's the best one to win, but because it's the best one, not because it's the best one to govern, but because it's the best one to win elections.
Pero es un inútil.
But he's worth nothing. He's worth nothing.
Así que, ¿son gente preparada los políticos?
So our politicians, well prepared people, as they said on the third sticky note from the beginning?
No, no es
Nope, it's not necessary.
necesario estar preparado y suele reinar la mediocridad.
So mediocrity governs.
Ahora veamos qué pasa en la parte alta de la pirámide, donde
Now let's see what happens at the top of the pyramid, where the representatives meet.
se reúnen los representantes. Fíjate, el Parlamento se diseñó para ser un lugar donde se deliberaba.
Look, the parliament was designed to be a place where you would think about proposals.
De opiniones diferentes, se trataba de convencer
So facing different opinions, you would try to convince the other ones,
a los demás y se estaba abierto a
and you would be open-mindedly to get to an arrangement to get to the best decisions.
ser convencido para llegar a un acuerdo. Pero con la llegada de los partidos
But with the arrival of the political parties,
de masas, se convierte en un simple medidor de poder. Cuanto
the parliament becomes only a power meter. And you tell me this is not what we have been seeing for decades. It's either the blue or the reds and some minority, or the reds or the blue and still some minorities. But this is what we have nowadays. A power meter.
cuantos más votantes tienes, más fácil resulta imponer tus ideas.
So the most from your party or your color, the easiest it is to pass your bills.
Hoy día, los partidos han perdido gran parte de su militancia. La sociedad
So today's society has lost their faith on political parties. So militants in their lines is diminishing.
se compone de una mayoría no militante, que no es de ningún partido, y las minorías.
So society has become literally a militant majority who has no parties. And the minorities are the ones that follow the parties.
Que siguen en ellos. Atraer a esta mayoría es la clave. Así que se la...
So the key for the politicians and political parties is to pull the vote from these people towards their aisles.
Estudia y se va cambiando el comportamiento del partido para atraer.
So they study you and they change the behavior of the party to just attract masses. And I'm gonna add to that today they study you via your cell phone, via the internet, and this is something that a lot of people does not believe yet. I don't know how. You got to be brain dead to not understand that the way you talk, you text, you chat, whatever you post on your social media, they use to understand you, to see your way of thinking, and then they use it to attract you, kind of like against you. And I say against you because of the fact that it's a information war that they create. So they start putting these things that go most likely accordingly to your way of thinking. If you don't believe this, and this is a simple exercise, and a lot of people doesn't even bother to do it because they just say, no, that's not true. Well, do it. Have fun for a little bit. Just if you have a friend or a relative or someone that you know that thinks way different than you do, that they don't watch the same programming that you do, that they don't follow the same political party you do a Google search together of the same terms. Enter the same terms, both of you, or if there's three of you, all three of you, or how many people you want to add, and you'll see you get different results. Some might be similar, some might be too different. But this is the exercise that you can do to see that they target specifically you, the one who has the phone all of the time in their hands.
votantes e incluso fabricando candidatos. Los partidos
So they even fabricate candidates based on whatever it is your way of thinking.
no solo tienen que atraer votantes, también tienen que evitar que te acerques al resto de partidos.
So they don't only play the game of attracting the militant majority, but they also play the game to avoid to look a little bit, even a little bit similar to the other party.
¿A alguien le apetece ser un fascista o un rojo de mierda?
So basically, what they say is they all do allegations that one party is a fascist and the other one is just a piece of shit. Literally, how they all say it. You're a fascist, or fascist, or you are a piece of shit. So that's the way they attack each other. So now they don't just play to bring you into their aisles, but they also attack each other, kind of like making you the midst or the reason for that attack, so they can demonstrate you that they are defending your way of thinking.
Pues solo puedes estar en uno de los dos extremos.
So you can only be on one of the two sides. So either with God or with the devil.
También se le llama polarizar.
And polarizing it like that is how they get to win the vote.
Dividido a la sociedad en polos opuestos.
So we divided the society in different poles, in opposite poles. And this is what I say all the time. It doesn't matter if you are red or if you are blue. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian and I'm a Catholic, which I'm not. It doesn't matter if you are a female or a male. It doesn't matter if you are black or white or Chinese or Hispanic or Middle Eastern. We are all one race, and that is the human race. We cannot fall into their game, because this that happened here literally is what they do. You see how he broke the paper in half and all of a sudden flames came up like all hell broke loose? This is what they do. They divide us. And whenever someone from the blue side comes near to this and the red side comes near to this, all hell breaks loose. And who loses? We, the people, those that were in the middle, that don't believe them anymore. Those that are in the middle, that are just struggling to bring a plate of food to our kids. Those that are in the middle, fighting day after day to keep a roof over the heads of our loved ones, are the ones who suffer. We're just caught in the middle of them trying to gain total power. What they fail to see, and a lot of us fail to see, is they have no power at all. We have the power. We just have to demonstrate them. But let's just keep listening.
Vivimos en democracia.
So, we live in a democracy.
Ahora quiero que prestes mucha atención. ¿Y si
Now, pay attention.
te digo
What if I
que
tell
estamos
you?
llamando democracia
What if I tell you that we're calling democracy
a algo que no lo es?
to something that is not a democracy?
Si te fijas, desde el inicio del vídeo no hemos
If you pay attention from the beginning of the video,
mencionado la democracia en ningún momento.
we haven't mentioned the word democracy not once.
No ha hecho falta porque nuestros gobiernos, cuando nacieron hace 200 años, no se llamaban democracias.
It's not necessary because when our governments were born 200 years ago, they weren't called a democracy.
Se llamaban repúblicas de gobierno representativo.
The name was Republic of Representative Governments.
Exacto, repúblicas de gobierno representativo. Podríamos pensar que quizá el término democracia no se usaba entonces.
We could have just assumed that the term democracy was not used back then,
O no se conocía.
or no one knew it.
Vamos a buscarlo. John
Let's just look for it.
Adams, presidente de Estados Unidos.
John Adams, President of the United States,
Uno de sus padres fundadores.
one of the founding fathers.
La democracia degenera en anarquía.
Democracy will soon degenerate into anarchy.
La democracia nunca dura. James
Democracy never lasts.
Madison, cuarto presidente de Estados Unidos.
James Madison, the fourth president of the United States,
Otro de sus fundadores.
and one of our founding fathers.
La democracia es incompatible con la seguridad personal y la propiedad privada.
Democracy is incompatible with personal security and private security.
Sí que se conocía. En Estados Unidos,
So it was well known. In the United States, the oldest republic of representative government,
el gobierno representativo más antiguo, sus fundadores hablaban de la democracia. Decían
their founders talk about democracy. They said that it was the opposite to what they
que era algo
created.
negativo y opuesto a lo que crearon. Lo puedes buscar. La palabra democracia no se menciona ni una sola vez en la Constitución
You can look it up. The word democracy does not come up one time in the
que
Constitution,
redactaron, ni en la Constitución de la Revolución Francesa, una de las
nor on the Constitution of the French Revolution, one of the first ones.
primeras constituciones de la era moderna. Si consideramos, como decían los padres fundadores de Estados Unidos, que lo
If we consider what the founding fathers said about democracy,
opuesto a los gobiernos representativos es la democracia, algo que, ojo, aún no hemos dicho.
let me just back it up a little bit because I kind of lost track here.
Si consideramos, como decían los padres fundadores de Estados Unidos, que lo opuesto a los
If we consider what the founding fathers said about the democracy, that it was the opposite, the opposite of the republic of representative government,
a los gobiernos representativos es la democracia, algo que, ojo, aún no hemos dicho ni qué es, qué puede
when we don't even know what it is. What would happen if we call it the same way?
pasar si los llamamos de la misma manera.
So yeah, what would happen if we call it the same way? And he's just writing democracy under the way that we have government set up nowadays.
Que ahora es imposible preguntarse qué es esto otro.
So now it's impossible to ask what really democracy is, because they call this democracy, but they erased everything that had to do with democracy, so you don't really understand what a democracy is.
Deben ser lo mismo, porque tienen el mismo nombre.
So you would assume that they're the same thing because they have the same name.
¿Te acuerdas? Si queremos saber
Do you remember if we wanted to know the name of this, what we would call this?
lo que es la paz, no podemos llamar a la guerra con el mismo nombre.
So we cannot call war with the name of peace.
Para saber qué es esto, hay que negar que estas cosas son lo mismo.
In order to know what this is, what a democracy is, we have to deny that this over here on the left side, our actual way of government is a democracy. We have to deny it in order for us to find the truth about what is a real democracy.
Ahora, después de ver qué opinión tenían de la democracia los fundadores de nuestro gobierno, quizá esto no te parezca tan bestia.
So what he doing is adding the word "no" to the sticky note that said we live in a democracy. So now is we don't live in a democracy.
Bueno, igual sí que es un poco bestia. Por muy bestia que sea, es la única manera.
Well, it's kind of a bestiality. Well, it doesn't matter as much as bestiality it is. It's what we're living.
De preguntarse, entonces, ¿qué es democracia?
So, what is a democracy?
Como las cintas de antes, esta es una historia con dos caras. La cara.
So, like old tapes or cassettes, this is a story with two sides.
Ah, ya la conoces.
The A side you already know, which is a republic of representative government.
Gobiernos en los que vivimos. La B es algo
The B is democracy, something that you still don't know what it is.
que crees conocer, pero en realidad desconoces. Si te ha volado la cabeza saber que no vivimos en democracias, te va a encantar descubrir lo que significaba vivir en una.
If it blew your head up not to know what a democracy is, you're going to love to know what it used to be to live in a democracy. So, side B.
Lo tienes a un solo clic.
Now, for some reason, it didn't work. You click here and it doesn't do nothing. But I got the second video on their page set up already. I just gotta hit back.
President Trump is protecting
And of
pre-existing
course,
conditions. Prescription
we're gonna
drugs are
say
more
we're gonna get ads, especially politicians ads. This is the everyday now until November. You know, there's gonna be more and more every time. And they just what they do here, and I want to explain that before I continue to the video. They are trying to be popular with you. If you think they don't need it, no, they don't need it. My candidate doesn't need it. Biden doesn't need it. Trump doesn't need it. Well, let me tell you something. Why is it that they resort to get Hollywood stars and singers and rappers to publicly endorse them? Because they know you follow. You follow people like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and they do stuff like this. And keep in mind, they're actors, so this is paid. It's not different. They're getting paid for this ad. This is just an ad that they're doing as a professional actor or actress or whoever is just supporting them, and they are getting paid for this. Look, let me back it up to the beginning so you listen how Biden says, hey, it's DJ. Like he knows him and he, frequents him all the time. He goes to his house and DJ goes to Biden's house and they eat together, and they share. That's bullshit.
Hi.
Everybody's so excited. Like I haven't seen you in a while.
So good seeing you guys. Senator Harris, it's a pleasure to finally see you and finally meet you.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to see you. I'm a huge fan of everything from Fast and Furious, all of them, to Jumanji. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
By the way, do you know this stupid ass Kamala Harris was asked just a few weeks ago. Who is your favorite rapper alive? Pay attention to the question. Who is your favorite rapper alive? And this stupid ass had the nerve to say Tupac. He passed away. I was on middle school, and I'm 37 years old.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you for your work. Let me start off by saying, guys,
Thank you for your work. Well, let's go back a little bit to see what that kind of work is. Kamala Harris, she has incarcerated more black people than any district attorney in the history of the United States. This is facts. You can go look it up. Joe Biden, what has he done? Well, not even when he was a vice president, he did a lot. But let's just forget he was a vice president for 8 years. He has been on government for 47 years. Look at this dude here. He falling apart. We're all gonna get to that age. I'm not trying to make fun of no one but because of their age. But he's falling apart already. He can articulate sentences to put him out there. He gotta wear a wire to a debate because he would not be able to just answer to anything, especially to Trump, who is he's a clown. He will come up with any stupid ass thing that you would not be able as a healthy person to reply. Nonetheless, he's gonna be able to reply. He can't articulate sentences anymore. He's coming to dementia, and he falling apart. He falling in pieces. And instead of leaving that place he's occupied for 47 years for some new people that might bring some new ideas. No, he's just embracing it. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to die here. Same thing with old ass Nazi Pelosi. Like I said, we're all going to get old. We're all headed that way. I'm not trying to make fun of anyone because of their age. I would never do that. I have grandparents. I had grandparents. I have a mother. I had a father. And we all have to go there. This is not something just for making fun of no one, and especially because of age. But there's a moment as an adult that you have to recognize. You know what? There's younger people out there with more strength, with fresher ideas, with ideas that accommodate the people that lives these days in the streets, the people that works these days for what they want and they need. So why would you embrace a position for so long? That's just greed. You want to keep getting that pay. You want how much does a senator does? And yet we have these two old farts, Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, collecting money for doing nothing there because they do nothing. They pass bills and they make laws that they don't follow themselves. They make guidelines that they don't follow themselves. Look at Nancy Pelosi going to a hair salon and not wearing a mask, and but she enforcing the mask mandate so hard. You gotta wear a mask. You gotta wear a mask, even though the same box of the mask says that the mask would not protect you from the Rona or any other Rona virus. So, what are we talking about here? And yet they still playing the cool card, like, oh no, I'm a friend of DJ and he's my friend. So the rock follows me, so follow me because he follows me. So you have to cancel your critical thinking. You have to be a stupid. You have to leave your mind blank so they can put whatever the fuck they want in there. So they can tell you whatever the fuck they want you to do. So if you don't do it because I tell you, do it because the rock does it. What the fuck kind of shit is that? Now think of what we were watching, and we're gonna continue to watch in a minute. And is this in any way? Is this in any way smart? Follow these people who hasn't done and accomplished nothing in almost 50 years because Dwayne The Rock Johnson follows him. Or excuse me. or because ratchet ass Cardi B follows them.
You know the nickname she gave her father when she was growing?
Like he doesn't even know what she's saying. I'm Gucci though. He doesn't fucking know what she's saying. This dude has been in government for almost 50 years. So how old do you think he is? He's 80 something. You think he understand when she said I'm Gucci though? And then he tried to play cool like oh, my daughter.
He called me
Look,
Joey B.
My daughter used to call me Joey B. What the fuck does that mean? Like you're just trying to be cool or what? Like, really tell me what is going on. And a lot of y'all fall for this shit. Oh, Cardi B does it, I'm gonna do it. The Rock does it, I'm gonna do it. Are you stupid? Are you fucking nuts? You're supposed to hear what this people is proposing and then vote for them for whatever it is that's gonna work for you and your people. However, you already noticed and saw on this other video that we're playing, we're gonna continue to play in a minute, that this doesn't even happen. So all this theater is just to keep the illusion that you're choosing, but you're not choosing. They're proposing just a few options, and they're giving tons of money to them to see who collects the more money and who posts their opinion more and who makes it visible the most. But you're not choosing anything. Don't you think oh, in November you gotta go out and vote. You gotta vote. To vote nowadays, it means to backstab. It means treason to whatever your parents taught you. And it means treason to your kids by just sabotaging their future. That's what you're doing, sabotaging your kids' future. If you want to see change, don't vote. You keep doing the same shit for decades and decades and decades, and you expect this shit to change? How if you keep doing the same thing? If you want to see different results, you got to do different stuff. If you keep doing the same shit, you're going to keep getting the same bullshit results. If you want to see a real difference, do not vote. You want to see a real difference, unite and forget about the fact that you have a black neighbor and a Chinese neighbor and the other one is a Christian and this one is a Catholic. We are all humans. If we don't unite as such, we are going to hang separate. Now, let's call the bullshit propaganda trying to be cool shit. Let's go back to the video. So the opening says, why democracy?
Atenas está aquí.
Athens is here.
A ver, si estás aquí, has visto el video anterior, ¿no?
Hold on, if you're here, you saw the previous video, right?
Si no, métete ya en YouTube /WhyMaps y busca Why Democracy.
If you haven't, just go to youtube.com/WhyMaps and look for the video.
O haz clic en la imagen.
Or click the image, which doesn't work. So,
Porque si lo hemos visto, vamos a recapitular.
so those of you who saw it, let's just recap.
Padre, pero vamos.
This is what my father thought at the beginning of the conversation. But let's just think.
Pero lo podemos pensar todos. Las elecciones son algo que hemos conquistado.
Elections are something that we, the people, conquered.
Los políticos son gente preparada.
Politicians are prepared people. I love this one. The power is on us, the people. But it's not on us, the people, because that would be craziness.
El poder está en nosotros, aunque dárnoslo directamente es una locura. El programa electoral es muy importante.
The platform is important.
Confiamos de nuestros políticos.
We do not trust our politicians.
En realidad, las elecciones no son una conquista, son un método que ya
Reality, elections are not a conquer. It's a method that it already existed on medieval times.
existía en la Edad Media y que usaron los reyes para no tener que negociar con todo el pueblo.
And a method that the kings used to not have to deal with all of the people.
Ese método luego lo conservó una élite, la burguesía. Así que no.
Se creó este. I'm sorry, I was going to translate from Spanish to Spanish. That happens sometimes. So, They created this method, and then the rich, the elite, kept it. Uh, so we come to the conclusion that the elections are not a conquer of the people.
Que no, la elección no es una conquista del pueblo, es un mecanismo que mantiene una élite porque le interesa.
So elections were not a conquer of the people. It's a mechanism that the elite keep because it's what they want.
Los políticos no son gente preparada, tienen que pasar
Politicians are not necessarily prepared.
por un sistema que les convierte generalmente en mediocres.
They got to go through a system that usually turns them into mediocre people.
El poder lo cedemos 100% a los representantes, con lo cual
The power we gave 100% to the representatives.
está en ellos. El programa electoral no importa porque les hemos cedido el poder total.
The electoral platform or the politician platform doesn't even matter because
Y pueden hacerlo o no.
we gave them 100% of the power and they choose whatever they do or they just don't do it.
Hacerlo. Es la joya de la corona. Aunque desconfiemos de los políticos,
And the crown jewel of the crown, the crown jewel of the crown, people, the crown jewel. We do not trust them, but we still vote for them, granting them total trust.
usamos un sistema basado en la confianza total, la elección. Vivimos en democracia.
We live in a democracy, quote unquote.
Como vimos, cuando nuestros gobiernos se crean, los padres de todo esto dejan muy claro que nuestros gobiernos son lo contrario a
So our founding fathers left us a clue saying that our governments are the opposite to democracy.
la democracia. Así que no vivimos en democracia.
So no,
Vivimos
we
en
do not
gobiernos
live in a democracy. We live in republic representative governments.
representativos y no sabemos qué significa la palabra democracia.
And we
Así
do not know what the word democracy means.
Y este POSIT.
¿Y qué pasa con esta nota? What happens with this note?
Lleva
So Athens is here. It's been there for 5,000 years.
5.000 años, 500 años antes del nacimiento de Cristo,
500 years before Christ.
era una ciudad-estado de 300.000 habitantes.
It was a city with 300,000, with a population of 300,000 people, the biggest those times.
Una Nueva York de la época. Es un momento interesante porque se parece al momento
Or the New York of those times.
en que nacieron nuestros gobiernos.
So it's a really important moment because it's similar to the moment our governments were born.
Al igual que en la Revolución Francesa, estaban cansados de reyes y de que el poder se
Like in the French Revolution, they were tired of kings and that the king position was only inherited and nobody else could govern.
heredaran. Y pensaban que el poder debían tenerlo los ciudadanos. No parece
So they realized the power should be on the people.
muy distinto al origen de nuestros gobiernos, como digo. Además, también elegían representantes.
So they started choosing representatives.
Votación abierta a todos los ciudadanos. No tenías que tener
So they started a voting process open to all of the people, not just the one with wealth and
ciertas
power.
riquezas para participar. Ojo, aquí empiezan las diferencias. Los atenienses
So here is when the difference starts. People from Athens realized also
se dieron cuenta también de que la elección significaba confiar en los elegidos.
that election meant to fully trust who you were electing or choosing.
Y que eso podía llevar a un si confías en mí, déjame hacer. ¿Qué hicieron?
And that vote could lead to the fact that they would say, if you trust me, let me do my job.
En lugar de confiar,
So what did they decide to do? Instead of trusting, they decided to distrust, untrust, no trust their representatives.
decidieron desconfiar, darle la vuelta a todo el sistema.
So they turned the whole system around.
Cualquier decisión que quisieran tomar los representantes, imagina que quieren aprobar esta ley, tenía que ser
Now, any decision that the representatives wanted to take, let's imagine that they wanted to approve this law, they had to consult.
consultada a los ciudadanos en una asamblea.
They had to consult the people in an assembly
Que podían ir todos, hasta
where everyone could go. And when they say everyone, it's everyone. The lawyer, the business owner, the farmer, the crazy dude from the corner, the guy who begs for money at the light street, everyone.
hasta el más pobre. Aristóteles, que era crítico,
Aristoteles, who was a critic of the democracy,
decía de ella que era el gobierno del pobre sobre el rico.
said that the democracy was the government of the poor over the rich.
Y recuerda, el poder lo visualizamos de arriba a abajo. Ahora el poder está aquí. Está
Now remember, power is always visualized from the top to the bottom. So the people in the assembly are not representatives anymore, it's the people.
ya no son representantes, porque cada ciudadano puede ir a la asamblea y se representa a sí mismo. Ellos son solo cargos. La misma palabra lo indica.
So we the people represent ourselves now with this system, and we don't need representatives.
Llevan una carga. Ahora sí se puede.
So the way they're supposed to be, our government should have a load on their shoulders, meaning that we have to turn the whole system around, and we have to represent ourselves and put the load and the weight of whatever it is we want on their shoulders. Now, let me add before we continue that we do this by turning the whole system around how he did with the paper. What does this mean? This means we as people have to unite and tell them, no, not anymore. We're not going to do this. You're telling us we live in a democracy where we don't really live in a democracy. We don't even know the meaning of the word democracy. That's why we're doing this, so you learn the real meaning of democracy. You see, they decided to take a few things from a democracy, a few things that would benefit them, but not the whole package. And then they still called it a democracy, but they erased the real meaning of democracy from the dictionary. So whenever you look up democracy, what you see is the bullshit times that we live instead of a real democracy definition. By the way, let's just go look for the definition of democracy. I have it right here. Democracy, a system of government by the whole population or all of the eligible members of the state, typically through elected representatives. And you would say, well, the elected representatives are the people that we're electing, that we're choosing right now in November, our congressmen, our representatives, our president. No, you're not choosing. They're proposing two for each, and they're giving them money, so they raise more money, and whoever gets the more money, you get to choose because you saw their ads more. But it's still the people that they chose. You didn't choose them. Unless you, on November, you go to the polls, and instead of choosing them, you postulate someone. That's you choosing. Because if you get that ballot and you put Trump or Biden, you never chose. You might think you chose because they gave you two options. But they are not to give you options because you're the people. You're the one who holds the power, not them.
Se puede decir que el poder estaba en los ciudadanos. Aún así, mira qué putos genios.
Now, this way, we can say the power was on the people. Now, even though, look what kind of fucking geniuses they are.
Dijeron, esta parte no nos parece democracia, porque si eliges a alguien, seguro que hace cosas sin consultarte. ¿Cómo?
This doesn't look as a democracy because if you choose someone, they might, or not might. He said seguro, which means they surely are doing things without consulting you.
Podemos evitar que los cargos nos digan, tú me has elegido, has confiado, ahora yo.
How can we avoid for them to say you chose me, give me all the power.
Decido, no eligiéndolos. Así que la
Not electing them.
mayoría de los cargos no eran elegidos, eran seleccionados.
So most of the how can I translate cargos on this context? So most of the places or jobs in government were not elected. They were people would make some sort of a raffle and just select someone that didn't even know was being selected.
Mediante sorteo. Es una genialidad. Si querías desempeñar un cargo, te presentabas candidato.
So they would just assign a number to everyone, and they would select a number, some sort of a raffle.
Y entre todos los candidatos se sorteaba el cargo. ¿Para qué servía esto? Estas personas no podían decir, el pueblo me ha elegido, yo decido en su nombre. No, no te ha elegido.
So this way, the candidate would not say, well, all of these people elected me and I decide what to do because I have full power. No, nobody elected you.
Nadie, nadie te ha dicho que puedes.
It was just a matter of luck. So nobody told you, nobody said your name, nobody told you to go on their name up there and decide whatever you wanted.
decidir en su nombre. Estás abajo de la pirámide. Tu trabajo es proponer.
So you're at the bottom of the pyramid. So your job it's to approve whatever we the people on top, we the people with power, want you to approve.
Cosas que deben aprobar los de arriba.
If we don't approve it, you don't do it.
Y ojo, los ciudadanos también pueden proponer cosas cuando quieran.
And in this system, the people, we the people, can propose and pass bills to be approved or not approved.
No te olvides, el centro del poder está arriba.
Do not forget, the center of the power is on top, and us, we the people.
La asamblea. Sabiendo que elegir implica confiar, los atenienses decidieron usar otro sistema, actuar con desconfianza.
So knowingly that an election would mean total trust, they decided to not trust and do a raffle, which means untrust.
Y sí, ellos también pensaban, coño, ¿y si nos sale un inútil? Así que para ser
And yes, they also thought, fuck, what if we choose a piece of shit?
candidato, tenías que pasar un examen.
So to be a candidate, you have to pass a test.
Este tiene multa sin pagar. Este
Basically like a background check. Well, this first one that they kicked out, well, he has unpaid traffic tickets.
tiene denuncias.
So
Ahora
this one has been reported to police for different reasons.
sí, los políticos eran gente preparada.
Now, the candidates, which we could really well call politics, well prepared people.
Fíjate en otro problema que se resuelve con este sistema. Los programas de nuestros partidos
Now, look at other problems that get solved with this program. So our political parties
políticos no existían. No servían.
didn't exist. So it wouldn't even matter to promise nothing. You couldn't even promise nothing. It doesn't matter what you promised. You wasn't going to be chosen just because what you said. You were going to be chosen by your preparation and through the raffle. So by discarding the people who was not well prepared, they would clean the group or the bunch of candidates and then raffle the position.
No servía de nada prometer, dado que tus promesas no influían nada en que salieras seleccionado o no. El programa
So your promises would not influence in if you were elected or not.
electoral, no, mejor hacemos que no se pueda prometer.
So platforms were really soon turned into more untrust or more distrust. So don't promise anything. That's what this sticky note says here.
Y si salías seleccionado y hacías algo
Where we're gonna have an ad and sure, of course, now climate change, which used to be global warming, which used to be global cooling on the 70s. They keep doing this bullshit and blaming politicians. Like they want you so hard to believe whatever they say. What can one man, and that's the position of the president or the government or the governor, whoever it is, what can one man do about that? We all fuck this world up. I do believe it's real. I don't say it's a hoax. I won't be I won't deny that. Although I've seen people deny it and people embrace it, I don't follow people for what they say. I don't follow politicians. Um, so a lot of people say, well, Trump says it's a lie because he's a Republican or whatever, or Biden says it's real because he's a Democrat. I don't care. It should be real because we people do the fucked up things. We produce lots of trash and fucking gas emissions and smoke, and we use spray paint and shit for everything. We turn everything into a fucking spray we put in a can. Yes, the world is probably fucked up, but we all did it. How can one man possibly? How can 500 men fix that? They can't. How can we all fix this? We can't. We fucked it up. This is not a car. This is the world. This is the place we were put on. Do you have any idea on how to fix it? I mean, we can certainly stop doing what we're doing, and that would probably make it last a little bit longer. But we can fucking fix what we broke already. This is not a car. This is not a house that you would paint and look fresh again. We, all of us, fucked it up. So there's no way you can choose someone by the fact of well, he doesn't believe the world is fucked up. That doesn't even matter. Let's just go back to the video. If you were selected and you did something different than the approved by the assembly of we the people,
te podía caer la de Dios.
basically they say he said te podía caer la de Dios. From Spaniards, that's pretty much like you're fucked up. You fucked up and you're doomed. So back then, and we're not gonna look at that. We're not gonna do that. We're way more civilized right now. But you were even facing a penalty of death.
Te podían matar. Aquí no se andaban con mierdas.
So they weren't around the bullshit. They could even kill you.
Sí, sé lo que estás pensando. Qué puto estrés ser político.
Yes, I know what you're thinking. What a fucking stress to be a politician.
No puedes prometer nada. No puedes hacer nada para lo que no.
You can't promise nothing. You can't do nothing that you wasn't granted permission for.
Te den permiso. No, es una putada.
No, it's a fuckery. And let's just stop what he's saying right there and add my own thinking. Isn't that what we go through? All that stress is what we go through now. They turned the paper on us by not showing us what a real democracy is. So all the stress he's talking about now that the politicians would suffer is what we suffer. We cannot do anything that we wasn't granted permission for. Right? We can decide what to do. We cannot give our opinion on laws, our take on laws. And we have all of the weight on our shoulders, and they live comfortably while they pay really, really, really generous salaries to themselves. And it shouldn't be like that. If we have the power, and we do have the power, we got to turn this around because the stress should be on them because they have to work for us. A lot of people still say, "You work for me, I don't work for you," and I applaud. I applaud that worker that told Biden, "You work for me," and Biden said, "You're full of shit. Oh, I don't work for you or whatever." Well, they were both right. Let me explain why. He told Biden, "You work for me," right? Because it's the way it should be. But that doesn't happen anymore. He just don't know it. He doesn't know the real meaning of democracy. And Biden was right, because although he might know the real meaning of democracy, he's just playing the politician's game that we play nowadays. He won't tell you the real meaning of democracy. And he was like, "No, I don't work for you." And that's true. They don't work for us anymore. We got to remind them, you know what? We're going to flip the script. We're going to take this pyramid and turn it around. And we're going to let you feel the weight of the power of the people.
Y encima los sueldos no eran la hostia, que digamos. Aún así, se calcula
And their salaries weren't good enough that we could say.
que cada uno de estos ciudadanos desempeñaba un cargo al menos una vez en la vida. ¿Por qué se presenta?
So it's calculated that one of the citizens of we the people, at least once in their life, they had a place in government.
A la gente? Porque este sistema solo funciona si participas. A diferencia
Now, this system only works if you participate. On the contrary, this system
del nuestro, que solo funciona si cedemos el poder en las elecciones.
This system only works if we allow them to keep the 100% of the power on the elections.
A esto, los atenienses lo llamaban democracia. Como hemos visto, el poder está en los ciudadanos.
This was the first and the real democracy. As we can see, this citizens, we the people in the assembly,
De la asamblea, no en los pocos cargos seleccionados por elección,
had the power, so the power wasn't on the little charges elected through the raffle,
ni en la mayoría seleccionados por sorteo.
nor on the ones selected by the raffle.
Nos preguntamos si es un descontrol darle el poder al pueblo. La respuesta es la historia.
Let's see if it's a real mess to give the power to the people.
Atenas fue la ciudad de su tiempo. Escribió obras increíbles. Ganó.
Athens was the city of their times. They were. Let me go back a little bit because I kind of lost track again. I'm kind of slow.
La historia. Atenas fue la ciudad de su tiempo. Escribió obras increíbles.
They wrote incredible plays.
Ganó guerras.
They won wars.
Cuando veas películas sobre Grecia, cuando compartas fotos en Facebook de sus monumentos, cuando estudies a gente que vivió allí,
When you watch movies from Greece, when you share their photos on Facebook, when you study people that died there,
piénsalo. En Atenas, las
think about it. The decisions in Athens
decisiones las tomaba la gente corriente.
were taken by we the people or by their citizens.
Y duró 200 años. ¿Te parece poco?
And it lasted for 200 years. Does it look like little time?
Pues es exactamente lo mismo que llevan nuestros gobiernos.
Well, it's exactly the same time our system of republics of representative governments have lived for.
Que nacen hace 200 años con la Revolución Francesa. Dar el poder a los ciudadanos no es una locura. Funciona. La asamblea.
So to give the power for the people is not craziness. It does work. The assembly,
Sí que es una conquista del pueblo. ¿Quieres
it's a conquer by the people, by we the people.
más cosas increíbles?
You want to see more
Acuérdate de la
incredible
polarización.
stuff?
Los partidos
Remember polarization.
necesitan que odies al contrario. Nada de lo que
So political parties need you to be in discordance or to hate, and that's what he says. Each party needs you to hate the other side.
dice el otro es bueno. Son
So whatever they say is good, and what the opposite said is bad.
ellos o el fuego. En
And
Atenas
it's either them or hell. In Athens, there were no political parties, just people.
no había partidos, solo personas. De modo que estabas más dispuesto a aceptar la opinión de otro. El resultado,
In a way that you was more willing to listen everyone's opinion.
en la asamblea se debatía no para ganar, sino para encontrar juntos la mejor idea.
In the assembly, you would debate not to win, but to find the better idea.
Además, piensa en la gente corriente. Si puedes controlar a los cargos políticos y tu opinión
Also, think of the common people. If you can control the positions in the government,
no cuenta, ¿qué ocurrirá? Querrás hacer política, querrás ir a la asamblea. Como te he dicho, estabas siempre
you would want to go to the assembly. You would want to go and do politics. Remember, it was always full.
lleno. Muchos piensan que la gente pasa de la política y que por eso, ¿para qué darle más poder? Es al revés. Si tenemos el poder de cambiar cosas, tendremos ganas de hacer política.
If we have the power to do things, to do laws, we would want to do more politics.
Conseguía el sistema ateniense, la igualdad política.
What would you get with this system? Political equality.
Ahora no hay distintos tipos de ciudadanos, gente que elige,
Now there's not separation and segregation. People that elects, the elite, or people that's elected,
partidos,
political
representantes que toman
parties,
decisiones.
or representatives.
No, solo hay ciudadanos.
No, just people, just the people,
Y los ciudadanos tienen el poder.
and the people has the power.
No, estos no tienen poder. Recuerda, son solo cargos.
These ones in the bottom, they have no power. Those are just political charges or positions.
El gobierno representativo crea una diferencia entre personas. Los
So
que
our government creates differences, diversions, and separation.
ceden el poder y los que tienen el poder.
And the bubble of power goes up to them.
Y no da ningún medio de controlar a estos.
And they don't give you a way to control them.
Es fácil ver por qué los que crearon nuestros gobiernos representativos decían que la democracia era algo opuesto.
Now it's easier to see why the ones who created our system said that democracy was the opposite to our system.
Es que lo es. Es lo contrario.
And it's because it is. Now, if you turn the whole system around, the bubble of power goes up back to we the people.
Poder en los representantes
Therefore, we can remove the differences and the separation.
frente al poder en los ciudadanos.
So it is the power of representatives against the power in the people.
Dar confianza ciega frente a
It's blindly trust on politicians, or just untrust and just raffle the positions.
desconfiar totalmente. Promesas que no se cumplen frente a un sistema
Promises that are never going to come through against no promises.
donde es imposible hacer promesas.
We won't allow you to
Gente
promise.
mediocre frente a gente preparada.
Mediocre people governing against well-prepared people governing.
Es verdad, no vivimos
And let me add before we continue, let me add that the government is supposed to derive their power from the governed. So their power comes from us.
vivimos en una democracia.
We do not live in a democracy. For as much as they say it, we do not live in a democracy.
Pero ¿para qué decirlo? Porque solo cuando
But why say it?
sabemos que esto se llama guerra, podemos decir
Because only when we know this is called war,
queremos paz.
we can say we want peace.
Si vivimos en gobiernos representativos,
If we recognize that we live in a republic of representative government,
queremos democracias.
we can say we want democracy.
Queda una última pregunta por contestar.
Now, there's a last question to answer. Who manipulated us?
¿Quién nos manipuló? ¿Por qué acabamos llamándonos democracias?
Why did we end up being called a democracy?
Yo tengo una teoría. Nadie.
I have a theory. Nobody.
Fuimos nosotros los que cogimos el nombre.
We adopted the name.
Si te fijas en las ideas de mi padre, o sea, las ideas que tenemos todos
If you pay attention to the ideas that his father proposed at the beginning, or the ideas that we most likely all have
sobre el gobierno representativo, muchas
about our current system,
coinciden con ese gobierno que se dio en Grecia hace 2500 años. Por eso
a lot have words that are coincidental mentioned in the real democracy. But here's the thing: whenever we say untrust here on this label, it's because we decide not to trust in them. But here, although we do not trust in them, we give them full trust and vote for them.
Por eso le cogimos prestado el nombre, a pesar de que la realidad era otra.
So little by little over the years, although it was all different and the opposite, because it had same words at the same certain spots, although they weren't used the same way, we adopted the name.
¿Y si ahora tuviéramos el valor de cogerle prestadas otras cosas?
Now, if we had the balls to take everything from a democracy instead of just certain things, and then they here post what this system, what our current government system is right now, to what a real democracy is, and I'm gonna go through it in a way that we confront what we have now against what a real democracy has. Elections or a raffle to yield the power to the government or to exercise the power. Promises or a political platform against the obligation to deliver what we ask them for. Trust against untrust. To impose, how do you, to force ideas against we the people finding ideas. The assembly nowadays is a power meter against a parliament where we all expose our ideas. Polarization, and this includes division against opinion diversity. And last but not least, what we have right now, which is a republic of representative government against a real democracy. Now, that's the end of the second video, and I'm going to ask you, do you still want to live on a fake bullshit democracy? What they call a democracy? This that they call a democracy is not a democracy. And that's why a lot of people has a problem with the word democracy. They think, and someone said that democracy is two wolves and I think it was two wolves and a lamb trying to decide what's for supper. And you can guess what's for supper. If you see the two wolves, those are supposed to represent the two parties, political parties, and we, the people, are the lamb. And well, you know the lamb is going to be supper, and so we, the people, between those two wolves, those two parties, are supper. And now, do you want to continue to live in a illusion of a democracy? Because this certainly is not a democracy. I just showed you the real meaning. It took us about an hour to show the real meaning. And before we go, I want to go over again over the definition of democracy. And after watching the two videos and hearing what it is, now let's read the definition and you think what it is. Democracy: a system of government by the whole population or all the eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives. Now, tell me that when they present you with two options, whether you choose one or the other, are you really electing that person? No, you're not. Because it's one of the options they proposed to you. You didn't really have the opportunity to say, you know what, I don't know what preparation he has. Now, I know my neighbor. My neighbor studied laws for years and years, and he's been doing well to the community for years and years. And my neighbor is a really prepared person, is a really articulate person, is a really methodical person, and he knows what he does. And if he doesn't know, he consults anyone. So I'm going to propose my neighbor is the next governor, the next president. But in order to do that now in our system, in the system that we have nowadays, you have to convince millions and millions of people to propose your neighbor as a president, or if not, he won't win. You can postulate someone, you can go in the ballot and write that people's name and last name, but they will only laugh at you because it'll be you and probably a few more neighbors who postulate them. Now, do you want to continue on a system that would probably laugh at you because you want to propose that someone that's really prepared takes the lead? Or do you want to live on a system that allows you and empowers you, to do all of this that you can do in a real democracy? Make laws, decide whether a law is good or not, decide take real part in the decisions that are going to affect you and your loved ones and your neighborhoods and your towns and your states and the whole country. Do you want to live on that, or do you want to live on the actual piece of shit system that we have that doesn't even use the real name? They decided to use democracy little by little to deceive us, to trick us into believe that we have the power when we don't have it. We gave them the power by electing for the first time whoever they proposed. Now, I know the live has been long, have extended almost for 2 hours, but this is something we got to think of. We got to think of, people. We have to take action. We have to unite. We have to do what's right. And if we don't do it, we're doomed. We have to take action. We have to unite. We have to decide for ourselves. We have to keep the power. We have to show them that we have the power. If we don't do that, the injustice is never going to stop. their decision taking is never going to stop. So why don't we just unite, do the right thing, and let's change our system for the real thing, for a real democracy. That's all I have to say for now, people. I really hope you got something good out of this video. Please forgive my forgive the accent, forgive the mishaps that I probably had tenths of them. When translating, I'm translating as we go, and that might not be the best condition to translate. But I really wanted to share this with you guys, and I just found I had to do it live right away instead of preparing myself and fully translating the thing and doing a whole prepared video. I felt that it had to be live. So I apologize for the time that it took. I apologize for letting my passion get in there when I was talking about the whole politics, wanting to be cool and including stars in Hollywood into their uh, bull crap. Um, but I think I did get my point across. I just hope you get the best out of this and that you enjoy it and that you like it so much that you share it. Please, please, please remember my channel only have about 27 viewers. Please share it as much as you want, as much as you can. Please do that favor to me. Help me out to grow the channel so more people can be aware. Help me out to grow our subs so we can open more eyes. If you really like what I'm saying here and you subscribe because you like what I say, please, please, please share. Now I'm gonna add something else here, and is what I always tell you: do not accept anything no one tells you as the truth. Do not accept anything no one tells you as the truth. Do your own research, seek for the truth,